Think in a couple of years, Leon and Whisper will be our main people across the world. His family support system, his dad. You know, one things with me is I will never not get credit. Said no clubs wouldn't want him now, that he's not ready, that he's not good enough, that all of these things that you went out and said in the public social media rather than supporting the kid. I hope you enjoy the ride at the back of the bandwagon.
All right, here again with the part two. So we spoke about Dujuan reaching to this point. Now everything is done and dusted. All the formalities are out of the way. And he's officially pre-contracted to Chelsea. We see the likes of Giovanni Silva to Chelsea, Enrique from Brazil to Real Madrid, and now Dujuan Richards to Chelsea. It must be a proud feeling knowing that you have had such a profound impact in his footballing career. But who else would you give credit to Whisper's success to this point?
Who else? Of course, all the people that have been around him. His mom, his family support system, his dad. Um, you know, one things with me is I will never not get credit. You can be horrible at some point, but there are points when you have done good. So for me, I can't deny that and will not deny that there are people who have been very supportive in his life. Phoenix, Kyle, Travis, Leon, the inspiration, the guidance, the sacrifices, going with Kyle, going with him to Newcastle and training with him every day and telling him what to do and also what not to do. Travis at training with him every day on the field, the effort put in, the guidance, the support. A whole heap of people. The principal at Mona High School, believe it or not, has been impactful. The manager down at KC, that works with KC, I think he was a really good Banks. I think he cared about Whisper. And I think that his genuine care for him was important.
To what extent do you see his career going? And I'm not asking for a subjective, a father figure, and a manager, an agent, a guardian of a saint. I'm not asking for that perspective. I'm asking for a professional perspective, a professional analysis for a player who knows young talent and knows the trajectory of young talent. What is Dujuan Richards' ceiling?
Unfortunately, whatever my answer is going to be will be seen as somebody who's attached to him emotionally or whatever. But the truth be told, I was never that way, and I'm never going to be that way. If I don't think a player is going to be great, I can tell him. And you've seen me do it before in no uncertain terms. But Whisper will go to the top. And I still believe that Leon will continue to rise, and I think in a couple of years, Leon and Whisper will be our main people across the world. I think that Whisper's potential to become a top striker. He has a lot of power, strength, finishing, eye for goal, both feet, speed. His speed has developed tremendously, and his work rate is great. So there's no doubt in my mind that he will go to that top, the highest possible level.
And speaking about work rate, that is something that not many people would have had the option or the ability to question many things about his game. All you've seen of him is in the Manning Cup to this point, but his work rate is something that came under question. He doesn't track back, he doesn't press, he doesn't defend, and that's all some, I would say, constructive criticism that he received. Set aside the hate. You said that he has a higher work rate. However, on the field, what we've seen for Kingston College, he didn't necessarily express a high defensive work rate. Is that something that was deliberate, or is that something that you'll have to improve upon his game?
When Leon whisper, plays for Phoenix,
Yeah.
his work rate is exceptionally high. He plays on the right wing. We don't use wing backs. His job is to press when we lose the ball and to track back when the ball's on the opposite side to provide a third defender in the line. So in truth and fact, he really it has a high defensive work rate, high pressing work rate, and his transition game is really his game. He's a transitional player. He's not the type of player that stands up front and waits on the ball. He comes for it and he brings it at you. So in order to do that, you have to be able to track back and press. At Kingston College, the Money Cup is a little 3-month tournament that, you tell your best strikers stay up front and just give it to him. Let everybody else do the work. He was the go-to man for the school, so he would have to keep his energy up and to go as the one man to go to. He would have to be in the offense all the time. But with Phoenix, because he's one of many great players, he has his role to do and he executes his role. He's not carrying the whole team. And so that's why I think it's a much better situation to analyze him, and his work rate is at Phoenix, not at KC.
All right, and staying on football, a man of many strengths, Dujuan Richards, versatile, athletically gifted, physically strong. What do you think is or tell me some of his weaknesses, football related? And if not weaknesses, tell me some of his strengths that you think could be improved upon more so than others.
He has no weaknesses. He has none. He used to have. It used to be his speed. We worked on that. I'm sure you see speed now. Yeah. 2 years ago, his speed wasn't that great. It may have been at one point when he was younger, at 12, 13. His right foot wasn't that good. Now his right foot is better than most people's right foot. It used to be his humility. Yeah. It's not that case now. He's extremely humble. It used to be his lack of focus. He has razor sharp focus now. So he really has no weaknesses. What I'd like to see more of is his transitional game. Yeah? And that's what I want him to become invincible at. Not that I want him to that he's not great at it. I want him to be invincible at it. I want him, when he drops off, picks it up, does the defensive work, wins the ball, and starts utilizing his teammates to go forward and then finish. I think that is going to be great.
And what about, in my analysis, I believe that for somebody who is 6'2", going 6'3", as powerful and as athletically gifted as he is, his aerial game, his ability to win headers and score headers, don't you think that part of his game could be sharpened upon?
Oh, he's awesome in the air. He scored about at least a good 20% of his goals in Manning Cup this year were headers,
I think he scored 5 goals with the head this season out of 30.
That, how much percent is that?
Yeah, it's a good percent, but I think he a lot of clear headers, he would have not converted, or he was not accurate on his headers. Do you think that's a part of his game that you could have probably pinpoint?
Question. And Lewandowski, yeah, one of the most lethal strikers in the world. How many shots you think he misses to score one?
No, quite a few. Don't get me wrong. Like, Dujuan Richards is one of the most clinical and prolific forwards. However, when the ball comes over in the air, I don't think he's as prolific as I'd like him to be at that height.
Ask you this. How many players in the Manning Cup scored 5 goals this season?
We're not comparing Whisper to Manning Cup players.
You use the Manning Cup as the means by which you did the analysis.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you, how many players in Manning Cup scored 5 goals?
I'm not sure. I don't know that statistic.
I would say maybe about 15. Yeah. Now, 5 goals and above, yeah? So if that is the stats, if one man scored 5 with the head, how much do you think the others who are scoring 5 scored?
All right, how many goals did Daniel Mitchell score with the head this season?
20 goals he scored about 4, 5.
About four, yeah, about 4 or 5 with his head. Um, do you think Daniel Mitchell is better aerially at accurately bucking the ball home than Dujuan Richards?
Daniel Mitchell is a defender.
Mm-hmm.
He has a lot of practice in this area. Whisper is as good in the air as Daniel. Um, and I tell you, I don't want to compare the
Yeah,
two.
it's not a
It's
comparison.
not a comparison, but I do believe they're both very good in the air. They're both at Phoenix. You trained from your little boy. He's not weak in the air.
Yeah.
He's excellent. He can tuck his chin and put the ball where he needs, guides it where he needs to go. And he's already tall, and he's not 6'3" now. He's like 6'4", going 6'5", because he has grown again. So
All right. More on the football element of it and Chelsea element of it. Do you think stylistically what was pitched to you by Chelsea? Do you think the way Dejan Richards was bred to play? Do you think it will fit in with a Chelsea system, or do you think that will take years and years to incorporate him into that system?
absolutely, he will fit in. I think he will do well. I think the plans that Chelsea have for their team and for the future is perfect for him. I think Newcastle would have been a very good option too, and I think that it was a very tough decision to make. Very, 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 very tough. And to go with Chelsea at this point has made it clear. The Chelsea's is one of the best, if not the best club in the world. It's my child. I'm revealing this now. It is my personal childhood favorite club, and it's a club that I always wanted Leon to go to, and want a Phoenix player to be at. And for us, it's an honor to have it happen and to be in the whole mix of it. No one believed, no one believed in Whisper getting to this level. No, no one. Or maybe in the future. Oh, Butler is pushing the youth too hard. Him not ready yet. Him this, him that. And I mean, even family, because to choose Qatar before Chelsea or before Newcastle, because there's only one thing that could make you do that: if you don't believe that you're good enough to get to the other level. And I believed in him, and I worked with him to get to where he needs to. When I can tell he has no weaknesses now, it's because I rub out all of those weaknesses. I train them all the time. I used to tell him he's slow like molasses, and he can now easily run 6 back-to-back 400s after a training session. And he laughs and runs past people. People that used to beat him easily before. I think even if Whisper was to really take it seriously, I think he could be a really good 400-meter sprinter.
I mean, he definitely has the power and the size for it. You said Newcastle would have been a good option as well. What was the differentiating factor that would have led you to go with Chelsea over Newcastle?
Chelsea came here. Joe Shields came here. He looked at our players. He looked at our academy. He saw the talent that is there and recognized it. He's willing to look at how we can work together to get more of the players out. He understands Jamaicans, and that's important to me. He understands Jamaicans. He understands London, and he's very committed to being close to Whisper when he goes. And he recognizes how important Whisper is to Jamaica and to the future. For Chelsea, to consider why we're serious about Chelsea and why we've decided to work with them, is that they have a history of Champions League wins. They have a history of developing and utilizing top players. When you think of the great players in the world, the great players in the world, most of them have either been to Ajax and then to Chelsea, or to Chelsea and back to Ajax. But Chelsea has always had great players. It's like Real Madrid, the Real Madrid of of England. So for him to get the opportunity to be there, to play there, and iron sharpens iron. So if he's going to be among the best players in the world training with the first team every day, I believe and I know he can make it to the top and I know he can be better than those that are there. He just needs the opportunity because he has the right goods.
All right, and speaking about the deal, as much as you can divulge, I'm sure the people would be interested as some of the terms and conditions, of his deals. I'm sure people would want to know about the nuances and the semantics of his contract.
Absolutely not. He has signed a pre-contract, and we also will not reveal what is in the rest of the contract. But suffice it to say, it is the best um, direct move from Jamaica in our country's history, and it shows what we can develop at Phoenix. It shows what I've been talking about, and I want to congratulate Coach Al Grimson on sharing my vision and believing that if you're good enough, you're old enough, and not letting the politics affect his decisions. I'm proud that he has called up Whisper, and I'm proud that they've called up Akeem Pusai Bernard. So,
Yeah, and even so, more so than Dujuan Richards, we've seen six teenagers, seven teenagers being called up into this most recent squad. Five of whom are internationally based. Like, what are your thoughts on Hargreaves making a deliberate effort to incorporate very talented youth? Rather than going with the average tried and proven quote unquote veterans, tried and unproven, as I would say, quote unquote veterans. He's decided to go deliberately youthful. What are your thoughts on his incorporation and likes of Casanova and Hutchinson and Richards, Bernard, so on and so forth?
the fact of it is this: the sure sign of insanity is doing the same things the same way and expecting different results. He can't come to Jamaica and continue to do what was being done before, which is playing over the same characters over and over, the same politics over and over, the same clubs over and over, getting their players in. He has to look also to the future, and he has to see where these players will be in 2026 and how old they'll be and what they'll be like. He has to have vision, and I think that's something that he has.
And how do you think he's managed so far to separate himself from the politics of the football in Jamaica? How do you think he was able to or is able to continue to do that without being affected? What does that say something about him, the type of person he is, or does that say something about a renaissance of the GFF?
I don't think it's necessarily. I think it could be two. I think it could be both. I think the GFF were going down the wrong path, and I called them on it recently, with Whisper. Yeah, and that story will come out eventually, the truth, and why he didn't go to Qatar, and he's now a Chelsea player. You know, but I think that they have also looked like they've been making steps in the right direction. They're trying to the good partnerships they have one with Adidas. They're including more people. They've asked people like, I think, Chris Daring to come on board and help them. I'm sorry. You know, you can't keep beating people if they're trying. And for me, I won't hit you if you try to do the right thing. You don't have to say sorry, but sometimes your actions show that you're sorry. For Dujuan to be included in this national team, they could have tried to block the coach when he included him. And for whatever reason it is, Dujuan is in that team, and Pusai has been called into that team. And I think there will be a lot more Phoenix players. But the key is not about Phoenix players. It's about getting the best of the best that you can. Whatever is out there, if it's in England, if it's Amari Hutchinson, add him, and have a nice mix. Have a nice mix with the experience, Jamaica's national team that went to the 1998 World Cup had a Peter Cargill, who was older at the time, and young players like Bibi Gardner. So, of course, you have to look at the correct mix, and I think that's good leadership, and I think the way that he's he's going about doing his business. He's not being rude, but he's being firm, and he's being very charismatic at the same time. So of course he'll be loved, and I respect him for what he's been doing, and I'm grateful for the opportunity for my country.
All right. And lastly, we know, everybody knows that a player won't be able to join the club until 18, and we know that Dujuan is still a kid. He's still only 17 years old, and as such, he'll be within your care for the rest of his life, but he'll be directly in your care still for the next 6 to 9 months. Will anything change?
If it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. I'll continue to work hard with him every day, push him to the limit. He still has to do his 400 meters. He might have to do 7 now. One of the things that he's been at my home for the last 2, 3 months now, and I want to make sure that his nutrition is at the highest level. Whisper doesn't like vegetables. Whisper don't eat fruits. Ingwe eat fruits and vegetables. And we're going to make sure that his nutrition is up on top and keep it high. His family is going to be very involved in his day-to-day work, and work with the academy. One of the things Phoenix has always been is a family-run organization. The family is involved. Jamani Bell is there. His father is involved. His little sister is catching the balls on the back. Dylan, his dad is there. All of them. Eddie Layton, Sean's father, has been there every training session. So if you go to a Phoenix session, you'll realize it's about family. Now we're going to be working very hard on his preparation for the next level. We're going to utilize Kyle a lot more in his personal training, because we do a lot of personal elite training early mornings, and then we do the team training in the afternoons.
So he plays for Jamaica tomorrow. It's a big deal. First of all, do you think he should start? Do you think Halgrimson makes a mistake if he doesn't start Whisper?
I think it would be a great thing if he starts him. I think it would be a huge crowd pleaser, and it would rile up the country, and it would show his intent on going forward. But again, I also understand the coach has to manage how he brings him into the team, because you don't want the team to not like him. You want the team to support him and stand with him on the ground. So whatever decision he makes, yeah, I'm sure he can. He's skillful enough to make it one that is an entire team being happy with it.
And lastly, he has two games, non-FIFA dates, 2 games against Trinidad. Obviously, you're not a clairvoyant, you're not a psychic, but I'm asking you regardless. Will we see Dejan Richards open his Jamaica scoring? I'm sure he's going to score many goals for Jamaica, but will we see the first one within the next 7 days?
Sorry?
Will we see Dejan Richards open his goal scoring catalogue for Jamaica within the next 7 days? Will we see that?
Well, Dujuan is a Phoenix. Leon Bailey played his first game for Jamaica in that same stadium in Catherine Hall and opened the scoring in that game. His first game was against Cayman Islands, under 21, I think, or under 23, and he scored a free kick in that game. So, for me, I think he would follow in his footsteps, and I think that if he plays, Whisper really rarely plays and doesn't score. So it's very most likely if he plays, he will score. And I think the talent that he has, he will overcome. The only thing is that he might buck up against one of his teammates playing for Trinidad, Matthew Wooling, and I just want to.
Is he here?
He's here now in Phoenix, in Jamaica for the game. He plays his football in Iceland professionally now, and he was at Phoenix for 4 years here developing in the academy, and then went to Inter Miami, and now he's in Iceland. So
what's his name?
Matthew Wu Ling.
Interesting. So Dejan, he's a defender?
No, he's a central attacking midfielder.
Midfielder. Well, I guess yeah, send them all over the place. As I say, once again, congrats on the big move. You can tell some people I told you so. I can tell some people I told you so. Is Dujuan Richards a wonder kid?
He's a wonder kid. And the I told you so part, all of you people that went out there and doubted Phoenix, doubted Craig Butler, called him a liar, said the boy didn't go on any trials, said no clubs wouldn't want him now, that he's not ready, that he's not good enough, that all of these things that you went out and said in the public social media rather than supporting the kid, I hope you enjoy the ride at the back of the bandwagon. Enjoy it. Because people like Ryan, you will never get an interview from Dujuan Richards as long as Craig Butler is alive. Thank you.
All right, people. There you have it. Kirk Butler, manager and agent, father figure. A lot to Dujuan Richards. Next time we have to talk about the person who actually carried him to Newcastle. Kyle Butler. So that's something that I'm putting out on air. Anyways, I have to go now. Being a busy man. So.
And congratulations to you and to your partner Rush.
My colleague.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Partner nowadays may mean something else, but to me it's business me I talk about. But congratulations for being clean, not telling lies, not choosing the side of gossip, but doing what you know was right. And for that, we at Phoenix respect you and appreciate you, and appreciate people like Oral as well. Oral, Tracy.
All right, Mr. Butler, thanks. I appreciate it. Anyways, people, this is This or That Sports TV.